So I think I've genuinely found one of the worst games on the Nintendo Switch. Not only is the game absolutely awful, it's also a really blatant ripoff of one of the most popular Nintendo Switch games. And the wild part is, it just keeps on getting worse. Today, we are talking about Pretty Princess Magical Garden Island. Now, this is described as a fantasy farming sim that's centered around you carrying out quests for the locals. And this is a Nintendo Switch exclusive that will set you back a whopping £30. Just keep this in mind when you see everything this game has to offer. And crazily enough, the problems start when you literally try and open the game. Because for some unknown reason, this Nintendo Switch exclusive is not compatible with a Pro controller. Even though the Pro controller is quite literally just two Joy-Cons put together. There is literally nothing the Pro controller can't do when compared to the Joy-Cons. But no, you have to play this game with the Joy-Cons and no other way. And as you can tell from the home screen, they beautifully decided to go with that very fancy font that no one can actually read. But once you finally make your way out of the home screen and have your Joy-Cons unplugged and ready to go, you can start making your character. Now, I should have really guessed this from the title, seeing as this game is called Pretty Princess. But yeah, you have to play this game as a princess. There is no prince option. There's not even any short head options. You have to play this game as like a textbook princess. There's not even trousers. And to be honest, some of these options that you can pick are a little bit cursed. The hairstyles are so rigid, and this one is particularly cursed because it kind of looks like a really wet slug. I think they were going for like shiny hair, but it just looks like slimy hair. And also, why is candy pink bright orange? I think this game definitely suffers from a few things that are lost in translation, because one of the colors is also just called buff. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. After you've picked your beautiful character, it is time for the background story. Now, this seems very reminiscent of Alice in Wonderland, as you basically follow a rabbit into a hole and learn that you're actually the princess of the realm you found in the hole. The game also then tells you you've already restored the castle back to its former glory. However, when the game starts, you find out that you actually don't have any memories of what you've done. But no one actually seems to be particularly concerned about this. They just assume that you've just woken up from a nap and this is all normal. So instead of taking you to a doctor, your friends collectively decide that they really fancy some cake. So it's time to go to Carrot Island and go grab some. Again, all whilst ignoring the fact that you desperately need a doctor. But it's only once you get to Carrot Island that you might understand where this video is going. As you can see, Carrot Island is a totally unique island that has never been done in any AAA game that's ever come to the Nintendo Switch before, right? But you know what? We're going to give this game the benefit of the doubt. Nintendo didn't invent a cylindrical island, nor did they invent a plaza on a completely barren island. So you know what? We'll just ignore it and we'll carry on with the game. Now, as you can see, this island is completely empty. So there's obviously no way we're going to get any carrot cake by just standing here. So in order to get it, we do the only thing princesses know how to do. We're going to colonize the island in order to get carrot cake. Makes total sense. Now, the general idea of the gameplay is you basically carry out villager requests. Now, when you first start off in the game, this is normally pretty simple. It can either be crops that you can grow or resources that you can go forage and find in other ways that are relatively straightforward. The further you get through the game, though, the more processing you're going to need to do in order to get the final item. So, for example, if you get an item request that's ice cream, then first of all, you have to grow corn in order to feed the cows that will then give you milk. And then you can take that milk over to the ice cream shop and make ice cream from there. The catch is, each and every process you do will take 5 minutes minimum per item. Each time you complete a request, you'll be given some money, but also some experience points that will help you to level up. And each time you level up, you unlock more buildings, more crops, and more outfits. And each of the shops is run by your friends, who still don't care that you have none of your memories. Now, as you can see, this island is pretty big, so it's a good thing it comes with a map to help you around. Yeah, this is literally an exact layout from Animal Crossing New Horizons. But the worst part isn't the fact that this is a rip-off of Animal Crossing, it's the fact that the map is essentially useless. It literally only shows you your position, the water, and the plaza. And that's it. Any building you put down, any farming you do, doesn't appear in it at all. But again, we're going to give this the benefit of the doubt. Nintendo didn't invent a map, or this map style, so we're going to carry on with the game. So in order to do the first couple of requests in the game, we need some flowers and some timber. So first of all, we get taught how to farm, which, like everything else in this game, is just a little bit awkward. There just seems to be never-ending menus. And despite the fact that we have this entire tool wheel, none of the tools actually involve a watering can, so you don't have to bother watering your plants at all, which you can decide whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. And then we get taught how to acquire lumber. And is it just me, or do even the trees look very reminiscent of Animal Crossing? Like, they couldn't even come up with a tree design that's remotely unique. But the good news is, this game has at least thought of something unique. And instead of giving you just an axe to chop down trees, they've given you a hammer to hammer the wood out of them. I mean, they tried to do something different, so we've got to commend them for that, right? And after feeding the chickens and waiting a little bit for the orange cosmos to grow, we could hand in our first few requests and level up. And this gave us the ability to learn how to fish. So we go to our ever so handy tool wheel, select our fishing rod, which I keep on getting confused for the net, and off we go. And oh, this once again looks identical to Animal Crossing New Horizons. Did they really not come up with any unique concepts? Oh, I suppose you could mine, so we've got that. And admittedly, they did add in a few different things. Like, for example, the further you level up, the more dresses you can wear, even though some of these are definitely an interesting choice. And you can take care of animals, but for some reason, both the cows and the sheep have the exact same animal model, and the only difference is really their colorings and nothing else at all. You also have bees as well, which are absolutely massive. But you know, at least the game is doing something unique, right? You can also hug the villagers, which honestly is something I would have loved to see in Animal Crossing New Horizons. Although at this point, I probably need to start questioning where everyone lives, because this island is completely barren other than our house, which exists on the plaza. So either we all live in this one giant house, which doesn't have any interior whatsoever because it just brings you to yet another menu, or we sleep in complete luxury in the house while all these rabbit villagers just sleep on the floor. And honestly, that would make sense because most of their requests seem to be food. But I guess if they added in villager houses, it probably would be getting a little bit too close to Animal Crossing at that point. And up till this point, I've been trying my best to see what they bring that's unique compared to Animal Crossing New Horizons. But then I discovered that you could decorate. And I found all of the decoration items in the game. And this is the point where I don't think I can defend this game any longer. As in order to decorate, it allows you to either build decorations, you could also build fencing, place floorings, bridges as well, but it's really the item choices to decorate with that really sent me. Now, some of these items are pretty standard. You have trees and bushes and that sort of thing, which I can totally understand including. But then you have things like the flower cart, which looks awfully similar to the Animal Crossing one, including all the different colors. You also have the greenhouse, which looks similar to the Animal Crossing items. The archways and the fountains, I'll give a free pass to, they're pretty common. But you also have the fact that there's lighthouses, silos, and then we get to the lights. Not only do they have the starlight, but they've also got the moon one to go alongside of it. They've got the rose beds as well, the same street light type things. And bear in mind, I'm only level 6 in the game so far, which means there's even more items to be unlocked. Now, admittedly, there are different items than just the ones from Animal Crossing, but these items are more than just inspired from their Animal Crossing counterparts. Some of these are just straight up rip-offs. And none of this kind of covers the glaring issue with the game that is the gameplay. In Animal Crossing, everything kind of felt like you were doing it for a purpose because people lived on the island in which you were decorating. So it wasn't just making things look pretty for you, but you could also decorate and arrange each and every one of the villagers' houses as well and kind of make this little community. This most definitely does not have that feeling. And instead of this being a farming or life sim, it's basically just carrying out different tasks. And the issue with this is that everything you do in the game takes time, and when all you need to do is process materials, it kind of starts becoming like a waiting game. Now in theory, a good way to spend the time would be to go and decorate, but it's missing a few things that Animal Crossing has that means that decorating is just thoroughly unenjoyable. The controls just feel fiddly, and it feels almost impossible to put something down where you want to put it down. And the issue is you can't just push and pull items like you can in Animal Crossing, making its placement really difficult to get right. Now, as we all know, Animal Crossing at a certain stage had a bit of a lagging issue. So I did decide to put this to the test in this game as well. Now, admittedly, I'm not much of a decorator, so I did just kind of yeet down objects wherever I wanted to see if I could get the game to lag. But I do definitely think when you started sprinting through these different areas that you could definitely start to see some slowdown to the game. So I'd hate to see what this looked like if you had an Animal Crossing style island where every single inch is decorated. And then we have the menus, which seem to be never ending, and every single time you go to close out of one of them, you have to face another pointless line of dialogue before you can run off and do whatever you want to do. And to finish this all off, you then have the weird translation issues. Like, I don't think I've ever had someone say salutations to me in my entire life, and yet it's in this game. Now, even if we put the fact that this game is a rip-off of Animal Crossing in so many ways to the side, I think the most offensive part about all of this is just the price. This screams free mobile game and definitely does not scream £30 worth of product. And the fact that everything takes in real life time to do makes me think that at some point this maybe was thought to be a mobile game, as it definitely has all of those types of mechanics going. This might have been a good game for young'uns if it was like £12, but for 30, this is absolutely awful. And somehow one of the funniest things I've ever played. By the way, if you want to see me rank every single game I've played in 2023, click this video here.